I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
From the world center of racing to the stock car capital of the world, welcome back to CharlieCar Night in America. Myself in the booth along with Keelan Belsha. Keelan, cars are rolling off pretty quick here, so we're going to get this race started right away. But it's Alex Williams on the pole. We got 80 laps of racing up for you tonight, and these cars are ready to go. Keelan, welcome to the booth once again. And how you feeling? What are your expectations, and what are you watching for?
Oh, I'm feeling great, and I'm just excited to see how this race will go. These guys hitting a mile and a half for the first time this season. First track different from Daytona. It's going to be interesting to see how they race it today. And a storyline to follow today is the fallout following this past week. We'll probably touch on it throughout the broadcast, but Dirty South Racing and CharlieCar, they had some words with each other about Mason Byers' actions, so we'll see if there's any tension from that group on the racetrack today.
Yeah, that was a big hot topic issue. Mason Byers starting pretty deep in the pack today. By not a lot of people who wanna be around him so far, but the pace car is going to come out of turn 4. Alex Williams crashed out early last week. We'll lead him to the field this week. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Charlotte. And off into turn number 1 they go. Alex Schumacher, who started second place, is trailing right behind the number 88. Heading into turn number 3, it's Toyota Chevy, now Ford looking inside for third place.
The Alex and Alex show up front as Williams goes a little bit high on exit, trying to get the momentum down the straightaway. And we talked about it earlier, Charlie, as Schumacher takes a look down low. It's going to be a tire wear race, so your tire strategy is really going to be the most important thing to keep you up front and to
have a
shot at the win today.
Jack DeAndrews around. Eli Comerford's in the wall. Michael Pruitt is also around down the back straightaway. And the caution will come out on lap number 2, very similarly to last week. And it looks like for the second week in a row, Eli Comerford's going to be taken out in a lap 2 crash. Alex Schumacher will lead them to the yellow flag. Remember, there's racebacks in this series, so he will restart in the first spot. Keelan, once again, we got a crash early on.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just not something we've expected in these first 2 races is the early crashes, but these guys coming through the field who have been fast and feel like they have the fastest cars, but starting deep in the field, trying to come up through. This is something we touched on before the series began. It was going to be chaos, these guys coming up through the field, but not something you expect on lap 2 with a little 3-car collision there, and heartbreak for Eli Comerford. Not a great start to his season whatsoever.
Yeah,
and
Eli.
I'm trying to get a look here and see what happened.
Yeah, Eli unfortunately has been on a pretty big dry spell throughout these AI racing series, and this just gets really, really tight. Oops, hold on. Let's make another attempt to look at the replay here.
Yeah, it looks like they were getting 4 wide up in front of DeAndrea, and he was already 3 wide with Kenneth Bueno in the 17 right there on the very top. Curious as if he just ran out of room up there and smacked the wall, came back down into him. We'll get a look here. Here you see DeAndrea in the Buffalo Wild Wings car up there. Kenneth Bueno to his inside. They start slipping back a little bit. Comerford and Pruitt on the bottom right there. And that 4 wide stack up there, it looks like Goder got loose. And then DeAndrea comes down on Bueno, gets himself turned in front of these two, and Eli Comerford gets the worst of it, smacking that inside wall.
Yeah, I think, they were 4 wide ahead of him, and they were able to get it sorted out. But unfortunately, Kenneth kind of gets pushed up by Haley and into Jack. Unfortunately, Mike is also an innocent bystander, gets a big piece of that. So 3 superstars in this series, longtime racers that we've seen years and years, unfortunately, have a good lick of damage early on.
Comerford, a guy who wasn't pleased with other drivers and with how the race went for him last week after the lap 2 crash, and this week don't think it's going to be much better for him, as it's been tough sledding to start his season, but long season to go to try and make the first ever CharlieCar playoff, so he's looking to get momentum sooner rather than later, try to salvage today's race.
So the caution will be out on lap number 2. Alex Schumacher was able to take the lead coming to the caution flag. Randy Eggers in the number 22 supporting a new CSX Stealth livery on his Ford Mustang. Looking to make it 2 for 2 for JFK Memorial Racing, and the car that won the first race for him is sitting in 4th right now. That's Stratus Paye, and rounding out your top 5 is Francisco Bacallao. So a couple guys who had some good races last week are still up front to try to, double it up early on.
Yes, Sarah Beyer there in the 6th position. She had a good run last week before the last lap. Got caught up in a wreck there. Shane DiMantova couldn't really get nothing on last week for him. It's the 31 in 8th. Who's in the 31?
31 is Eclipse de Paye.
Eclipse, the cat. She got in a wreck last week with Jack Andrea. We got Ryan Bradshaw, I believe. No. Is that Mike Beyer?
Mike Byer's in the 12, yeah.
Mike Beyer and Emma Grendes. Emma Grendes also sporting a new paint scheme this week, ain't she?
Yep, she's supporting Miami University Mid-American Conference Division I football champions. They got that win against Toledo about 2 weeks ago, and is supporting that. So I believe the pace car lights should be out. So we'll be going back green on lap number 7. Yep, pace car lights are out. These cars are going to double file down the back straightaway. And Alex Schumacher is going to look to keep that lead in his McKillop Ultra. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Honestly, I've never seen that brand before this series, to be honest.
Alex sports it, and that's going to be what he's restarting with in the first position here. No rush, Charlie, but if you could, on the Discord side of things, if you could restart that stream, I would appreciate it. As it gets a little bubbly every night. Schumacher, he's been a supporter of the series for a good while, and has been putting together a good run to this point. So we'll see what the field can do here after some chaos early on lap 2 for the 2nd week in a row. This is about the point in time last week where these guys started to settle down and get it together. So we'll see what they can do here, as it'll be Schumacher leading us to the green with Randy Eggers, also known as LGL, to his outside.
We know him as LGL, obviously over the last handful of years, but pace car is going to take the dive off the pit lane. Field led by Alex Schumacher and Randy Eggers. We'll come to the restart zone. And we're back underway here at Charlotte.
Good restart for Eggers on that outside. He got a good jump on Schumacher there. Don't know if he spun the tires or just couldn't get through the gears, but Eggers, he took advantage of it really quickly, and he shoots out to the race lead. Last week's winner, Stratus Paye, trying to make a move on the outside of Schumacher, battling with Alex Williams for the 3rd position, as Eggers shoots out front a little bit.
Yeah, Alex Williams, a big hopeful for a good race to start this season. Unfortunately, got taken out on lap number 2, but he's been able to rebound successfully. He's so far, I've been impressed with his performance, being able to kind of back up his talk a little bit. As they're 3 wide for the race lead, Stratus Depaille is up into the wall, and he's going to lose a lot of spots off of that corner.
And Depaille got too high there, and I think that's going to be a trend you're going to see today. Those guys searching for every inch of racetrack up top. It is nighttime, so there's a little bit more grip all the way around. But once these tires wear, that top is going to be even more dangerous to get up there and scoot on, because that's where everybody's going to want to be, because that's the least amount of turn you have to put into your wheel with all the banking right there. So
yeah,
as these guys move up the racetrack throughout the day, we may see more of that. But early here on the fairly fresh tires, Stratus already in trouble. Trouble on the backstretch.
JJ Hill's around. Emma Grindy's is around. Jack DeAngelo once again into the inside wall. And we're starting off this race with 2 yellows before lap number 10. Jack DeAngelo unfortunately collected again. Unfortunately, not a very great start to this race for that number 28.
No, not a great start at all. But it hasn't been a good season to this point for him after last week's incident at Daytona with Eclipse Depaille, and today just a rough start. It looked like that was JJ Hill in 51 that was turned around. Oh, I'm back. Yeah,
we're back.
I don't know what happened, man.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a replay here of this lap number 9 incident. I think it's Keelan. I think it's another result of that 4 wide off of turn number 2. Fortunately, JJ Hill's collected, finished in the top 10 at Daytona, and it just gets a little bit too tight there. He, Molly, and Emma are all collected. Keelan, in that number 18, gets a little bit of a dip into that crash. Collects Trip Belsha. Zane Warkel gets a piece of that as well. So a lot of cars. Zane Warkel finished 3rd at Daytona last weekend. So a lot of cars with good results last week, unfortunately, are starting off this race with a bit of trouble.
Yeah, not a good start for Dirty South Racing. These are 3 of their cars to be part of this one right here. Right there in mid-pack, see, they just squeeze right there, and that's what sends JJ Hill around. Both the Belshas get a little bit of piece of it. So, not a good start for them. Alex Williams, the only one hanging on to a good run to this point for him up front, as he sits. I thought he was a little bit higher up then. He must have lost some spots there on that restart. He's back to 7th.
Yeah, Alex Williams
in the race lead.
Well, yeah, Alex Williams was contending for the lead. But unfortunately dropped back almost out of the top 10 here. But Sarah Beyer, Kenneth Bueno in that number 19, and Eclipse Depaille are going to round out your top 10. So not a whole lot of movement, but I think the biggest drop that we've seen so far, aside from the cars that unfortunately are looking with a lot of damage here, Stratus Depaille, who got into that outside wall going into turns 1 and 2 and lost a lot of spots. I think it's a big risk versus reward scenario, because that top line is fast, as we've seen, so far in this race. You're able to kind of get up there and shoot around the guy in front of you. But unfortunately, if you get into that wall, you're going to lose a lot of spots like this 39 did. But I think his main priority is not to go out and win. He's already done that this season. It would be nice, but I think he's trying to protect his points from now on.
Yeah, I think that's got to be his goal right now, is to protect that points lead and to just keep it in the top 8 in points. Try to make that playoffs here. As we get later into the season, those points, every point's going to matter, every position's going to matter. And it's not the longest season in the world. This will be this series. It'll come to its conclusion by the time the Daytona 500 fires up and gets ready to roll. So it's going to be about really being fast and making the most of your opportunities. So I feel like that's what he has to do, is maintain that points lead, try not to drive too far over your head. And I think that's really everybody's goal when you come in here, is to get the best runs you can, make the playoffs, and be there at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think, it's a 7-race regular season, and it's not like a win-and-you're-in scenario. Or these guys aren't going to be put in that scenario because a win doesn't lock you into the playoffs. So it's definitely a points battle going into race number 7. And it's really only a handful of races, being only 7. So these guys are going to have to maximize their points. And unfortunately for people like Eli Comerford, who have gotten pretty severe damage and are we can pretty much call them out of contention for the race by lap number 2 this weekend, last week. Unfortunately, he's got a lot of climbing to do ahead of him. He's going to have to be consistent from now on. Same with like Jack DeAndre as well. So it's going to be a tense battle. If you think that NASCAR, you got to piece together only a few races in a row at a time. I mean, 7-race regular season and then a 3-race round of 8 to get the championship for. That's intense.
It is, and it puts a lot of pressure on the drivers because you can't really afford to mess up with how short of a season it is. You only get a handful of opportunities to prove your talent and get those points you need. So it's no real opportunities to mess up. And if you already have, you want it behind you now, and you just want to look forward to the remainder of the regular season and see what you can do. On the last restart, Randy Eggers got a good jump on the outside. We'll see if Schumacher can replicate that here as they take the green flag at Charlotte. And looks like he does. Good jump for Schumacher. That outside sure seems to be the way to go early.
Yeah, it's the inside line seems to be a bit of a weak point on these restarts. Is that outside line, as you said, Keelan has been able to power around. But we'll see down the back straightaway. Randy was able to make that move for the race lead coming towards the last yellow flag. So, he's got a bit of speed in his car. Maybe he'll be able to take it back. But Alex Schumacher's got a 2-car length lead into turns 3 and 4.
Side by side for the third position right behind Eggers. That's Shane DiMantova and Francisco Bacallao as Mike Byer takes a peek to the inside. They're going to be 3 wide for the third position back there. Reese Kupski, Alex Williams, Sarah Byer, all in that little group right there. Car on the wall back there as they're nearly 4 wide for third. This could be trouble.
Big crash for Shane DiMantova down the back straightaway. And that's going to bring out yet another yellow flag. Keelan, this is not the race that I was personally expecting, but unfortunately, Shane DiMantova was having a good run, and now he's out of it.
Tough for Shane DiMantova. He was running well, and then right here on the back stretch, trouble for the 20. And last week, he was not much of a factor. I believe he was knocked out of it late, if I remember correctly. So, again, when it rains, it pours for these guys to this point. And we saw it 3 wide going into the corner. Mike Byer was aggressive, and it looked like he kind of slid up, opened the door for Alex Williams in the 88 right there. And DiMantova, he's as high as he can go without Francisco just putting him in the fence. And 4 wide, it feels like those guys on the outside are trying to get some breathing room up top, and there's just none to be found. And I feel like that's kind of what's starting these crashes right here. You can see him kind of try to come off the wall a little bit, get a little bit of room, as we see here from the chopper.
I mean, Shane does a really good job of kind of maximizing the room that he has, but unfortunately it just kind of closes up on him and gets really tag teamed by Aviator Racing. Francisco and Mike Byer, who are both teammates. Luckily, it was only a single car incident, but yeah, that's Shane DiMantova sliding down to the inside at over 180 miles an hour and into this little jut here on the inside wall. Very
worst spot to hit the wall. Oh,
yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's also a little bit fortunate that he didn't slide up into a pack of cars. So I guess that's the only good thing out of this crash.
Nobody else got into him. Yeah, it was good. Were there pit stops just a second ago?
Yep.
Off the pit road, we'll see how the race was, as they made pit stops there under this caution period.
Alex Schumacher did not go into the pit lane, but unfortunately for him, all these guys are going to be on fresh tires behind him, led by Randy Eggers, Reese Kupski, Francisco Bacallao, Mike Byer, Alex Williams, and Amber Voigt. That'll be the race off of pit road. Alex, no tires on this pit stop. It's an interesting call for him.
And Eli Comerford taking his wave around there. So it's just Schumacher. You think this was one of those cases where whatever the leader does, we do the opposite? I mean, it's kind of early for that.
I mean, it's an interesting move. I'm not sure the strategy call for Alex here. I think Eli was also expecting him to go into the pit lane, because if he doesn't, then Eli's going to be starting in the middle of this pack. with a pretty torn up race car. So Alex making the interesting strategic call to stay out for this pit lane while everyone pits behind him. And I think in a race that looks to be a bit of a slew of cautions, I don't know if this is the right move. I think if he catches another yellow pretty early, he'll be able to go pit, but unfortunately he'll be in the back. So it's an interesting call for the 68, Keelan.
Yeah, and I think with the 3 of Comerford looking like he's staying out too, I just don't see a way that this is going to go very well with what we've seen to this point. And Charlie, I'm curious, in this AI universe, do you know what the caution record is?
Caution record, it's... Oh, man. In my years of doing this, I can't recall a race reaching more than just a handful of yellows. I think, crossing over to NR 2003, we're going to experience a lot more yellows because the AI is a bit, it's finicky. So I would expect a lot more yellows, but, back in the iRacing days, I can't remember there being more than a handful of yellows in a single race. I think maybe more than 5 at maybe a short track that we've been to.
The most I can remember off the top of my head was pretty early in the universe. We went to Kentucky, and we had several just pit road incidents at that race. I was just curious because we got a mailbag question from the chat that says, will we reach the caution record tonight? So I'm seeing if we could find that caution record. And, I guess we can set it at 5 because that's probably about right.
And we're already at 3.
Yeah. So I think it's a possibility because we're not even a quarter way through this race. There's chaos unfolding early, and I think that's a product of the randomized qualifying order that you get with some fast cars, some slower cars, and drivers trying to make their way through. I think it just makes it interesting to how these guys will race.
Well, what's even more interesting, Keelan, is Eli Comerford did not get the wave around that he wanted. So him, who has a torn up race car, Alex Schumacher's on about 18 lap old tires. What are you expecting here?
I don't think his tires are that bad, 68s, because you got to think of how many actual green flag laps we've had. I'd probably put it at about, 10? Probably 10 green flag laps, if even. So I don't think they're that bad, but this is a tire wear track, so I feel like he's going to slip back. But if we have to pit again for green flag pit stops, I wouldn't say he's in a terrible spot right now.
I think you're right.
It's just about keeping that car clean to that point.
Well, considering the amount of yellow flags, or the caution laps that we've run so far, Keelan, I think you're right. An interesting thing is we've seen the outside line power through on the restart, so we'll see if Eli Comerford takes the lead for a little bit. Maybe he leads a lap coming to the green. But it's going to be interesting. I think you're right. It's only been just a handful of green flag laps, so it won't make too much of a difference. But pace car is going to come off in turn 3 and 4, dip into the pit lane. The field led by Alex Schumacher once again will take the green flag. We're back underway at Charlotte.
And outside, it seemed to be the way to go early, and it looked like he got through the first gear quicker, but Schumacher just gets up to 4th quicker, and that damage 3 is going to hold everybody up. That's Reese Kupski, Mike Byer on the outside, Amber Voigt back there, all getting held up, and this is going to allow a bit of a breakaway up front, so if this thing stays green, it might stay green for a while, because they're going to get pretty spread out here as Comerford gets shuffled to the outside line. Mike Byer running him up there. That's Amber Voigt on his back bumper as the 3-car slips through the field, and we have a battle for the lead.
3 wide for the race lead, Randy Eggers, and Alex Schumacher into the wall. Alex Williams also collected. Amber Voigt, big hit, as well as Keelan Belsha, all of them getting involved on lap number 21. Keelan, this race has gone to absolute calamity.
Saw debris flying there, and my goodness, that one won't go over well later today when Schumacher and Eggers find each other in the motorhome later, because, this was aggressive, and we're going to replay here to see what happened. They went 3 wide. Mike Byer, he pushed the issue, and you think that kind of messed up Eggers' entry as he just ran Schumacher up the track and put them both in the fence. Alex Williams nowhere to go. Amber Voigt nowhere to go. Keelan Belsha nowhere to go.
Wow.
Man, that's
Alex
this.
Newhonger, out of a fit of rage, knocks the tail off of Amber Voigt, who is stopped on the racetrack. She's going to be out of this race.
Oh, goodness. What a crazy race we have had to this point. Is it a full moon?
It might be.
I mean, this is. I've just never seen anything like this in the sim racing universe that we have, pal.
I can't say they have either, Keelan. We got a lot of torn-up race cars. Alex Williams, for the second week in a row, is out of this race. Randy Egger is another car who was a contender, is now out. So now, the girlies racing cars are now up to the field, and ironically, that's Mason Byer up into third.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of Byer 1, 2, 3 here. And these guys, they got into a bit of a scuffle on the last lap at Daytona last week. Mason Byer really jeopardized those two's chances to win, and it put Mushu Grendis, who's up here in the top 10, back into the catch fence. And one of the points wanted to be made today was, is Mushu 100%? Her first race as a bunny in CharlieCar ended up in a catch fence by result of that cat right there. And I don't know if cats are predators of bunnies, but he definitely was on Monday night last week.
So looking at the bottom of the standings here, we've got about 6 cars that are now out of this race, led by Alex Schumacher, the most recent retiree. And then that's Trip Belsha is 1 lap down. I don't think he's out of the race yet. Keelan Belsha is, though. 88 of Alex Williams, once again, is at the bottom of the running order. Amber Voigt, Shane DiMantova, and Jack DeAndrew is going to round out the field. So we've got 23 cars in this field that are still running. So, and a lot of them are clean. So, there's still a lot of hope for some good racing. But I think, looking back, I think Stratus DePaille, maybe Michael Pruitt on back have all got at least a bit of damage. I may be wrong, though. There's some cars here that look pretty clean.
Yeah, this has quickly turned into a race of survival, and I thought this would be something we maybe got at the Charlie Bowl Nationals or the Taylor Swift Superdome. Not here at Charlotte. I thought this would be a good transition from Daytona to Charlotte for guys to really get it together and get their art and craft mastered here. And to this point, it has just not been great. And you think that's the lack of practice, possibly, playing on these guys?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, we've got no practice. These guys are just kind of firing up and going. And I think it's just, a lot of these drivers are optimistic, I think. They kind of stick their nose in or stick their really entire car in a place that might be closing faster than they think. And that's what it does. It closes, and unfortunately takes a few cars with them. So, that's kind of the unfortunate reality, but, we're still, it's a new series where we're still working out the kinks.
It is the Byers 1, 2, 3, and 5. So Reese Kupski, the only one kind of messing with this Byer train right here. As they're all up here. I think every Byer is in the top 7 of it now. So what a run-in for this family.
They're going to go double file down the front straightaway. Or down the back straightaway, excuse me. So yeah, this is kind of a Byer effective we got going on here. All the Byers are in the top 7, led by Sarah Byer in that number 6. Molly Byer in the number 1, Mason Byer in the number 24. Looks like Reese Kupski is going to try to be the Byer Slayer as he is restarting 4th, 2nd on the top line. His car dips in the pit road. Once again, for the 4th time, we're back underway at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Molly Byer gets that jump on the outside, gets that number 1 machine rolling, and jumping down in front of her sister Sarah. There's Charlie Byer taking a look inside of his cat right there on the bottom. Mushu Grendis back there trying to make a move as these guys are going to try to settle down and get some laps under them, because they have got to realize they all got to make it to the finish if they want good points, if they want a shot to win. So Molly Byer in the 1 machine, pulling out front, trying to get out further. As you see Sarah blocking those guys for second right there.
Good run for her so far, as now all these guys have piled into the top 6. So 5 of the top 6 are occupied with the last name Byer. Reese Cupsey being the outlier, sitting in 4th. He's going to look to the inside of Charlie Byer going into turn number 3.
Now he goes to the inside. Charlie Byer trying to get a run on the outside as Mason and Mike battle it out right there. Sarah Byer making a move for the race lead to the inside of her sister Molly.
Yep, moves down to the inside looking for that race lead. Reese Kupski now moves into the 3rd place. A lot of these cars jockeying for position behind him. I think they realize that now, you know, they got to get into a spot where it's going to settle down pretty soon. At least the chaos is for now. But Sarah Byer is going to clear for that race lead. Reese Kupski is looking out for 2nd place. Coming to lap number 29.
Kupski, is he going to make a move for the race lead here in turn number 1? Might take a look, but I don't think he's going to get there in this corner. As Mason Byer, the talk of the town throughout this week, he's put himself in 3rd. And here comes Charlie Byer making a move on him as Molly Byer has slipped all the way from 1st to 5th. Sliding back once she lost that clean air of the race lead, and now Reese Kupski, can he make his move for the race lead?
Yeah, Reese Kupski's got a fast car, inching up closer to the rear end of Sarah Byer. Looking down to the turn number 1, Sarah shuts the door. That was really close coming through the corner, and that's going to stack Mason Byer up against there well. So Mason Byer was in the media. Oh, wait, today we got a crash behind him. That's Ryan Bradshaw, who I believe hit the inside wall and now comes to rest. We're on lap number 30, approaching halfway in this race, and he's out.
Yeah, he got turned around back there coming off of turn number 2. We got some green flag racing there for really the first time today. As we get a look here and see what happens. That's the 8 of Nate Grendy's racing with Bradshaw. Gets up right to him, doesn't lift, and Bradshaw keeps his foot in it, and then he gets turned into the inside.
That'll bring out caution number 5. It looks like, man, that's a big hit to the inside wall, but it just looked like, it just looked like they were able to save it. They almost got off of each other, and then Nate kind of finished the job there. That's our 5th caution of the night. We're gonna look once again here. But yeah, they got into each other. Looked like they were able to settle it out, and then just finishes the job. Number 2, Chipotle Chevrolet Camaro to the inside wall. It takes a big hit. And what's fortunate is a lot of these guys around him that are passing right now, fortunately they're out in contention for the win, but they just gained one more spot.
It seems these drivers aren't really having any mercy on each other today. I mean, we haven't seen a moment where really anybody has let anybody in line or let somebody go after getting to their corner. It's just been every man for himself, every woman for himself this evening. I'm really starting to think a full moon's out, Charlie, because these guys are racing like their lives depend on it.
I think so. Yeah, a lot of big hits tonight so far. This is definitely not what I envisioned for race number 2, but surely an entertaining race for sure. We had a pretty good battle for the race lead as Reese Kupski is going to line up on the outside, and that's historically been the best place to restart. So it's going to be interesting to see if he takes the race lead here. But I'd say the conclusion of this race so far, if I were to give one now, is Rex and Byers.
Yeah, that seems to be what it is. A lot of Byers up front, and Kupski trying to put his name in the hat and take the Byers out of control of this race. As you see them all lined up, 4 of them in the top 5. I mean, this is just incredible. When you were growing up, Charlie, in that household, did you imagine you'd have a bunch of race car drivers in your house?
No, not at all. But here we are.
Proving you wrong.
Yeah, proving myself wrong. So the pace car lights are still on. And Keelan, we're approaching halfway in this race. We were able to settle down for a little bit, and then we just had a single car incident. But, you know, we were able to get past the first big wreck that took out, a handful of cars last weekend, but we were able to settle down and have a really good race after that. So Keelan, I mean, it's kind of similar to last weekend. Over half the field has got a bit of damage. You think we'll see some good racing towards the end of it?
I hope so. I hope we get a good race here and we get a deserving winner. That's what I want today. And this, I'm just curious if we will have green flag pit stops after all these yellows, because guys came down, they pit about lap 17, lap 18, and since then, and we've had a lot of caution, so a lot of opportunity to just kill your car and save some fuel. So I'm wondering if this will be enough to get them to the end of this thing, and if it's really going to be a tire strategy, and if somebody will go against that strategy and go down pit road and try to pass everybody and get the win.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Fuel window in this race is about 50 laps. So these guys pit around the lap 20 mark. So I'd say if they were able, or if they kind of put it together and get these guys kind of straightened out a little bit and have a long green flag run, yes, we'll have a pit stop towards the end of this race, which could provoke a bit of strategy. And again, that's only if these cars will keep it straight until then. But the pace car lights are off. The field led by Sarah Beyer in her number 6 Toyota Camry. We'll go back to racing on that number 35 with 45 laps to go.
A lot of time for these guys to get it together and keep their car straight and finish this thing off on the right note. Because to this point, it has been a wreckfest, to say the least. So maybe these guys can get it together, as I believe we're pretty close, or we've already passed the caution record.
Yeah, this is caution number 5. I think we kind of established that 5 was the caution record. So we're at that or approaching halfway through this race, and I believe we will likely surpass it. I believe last weekend, Keelan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we had 4 yellows, 4 or 5. So we're either tied or surpassed that race already.
Yeah, we had 3 or 4 or 5, something like that. Had a good race, though. It was a good race last week. Hopefully these guys can get it together, and maybe now with less cars, these guys can put together a good race. As Kupski's going to be on the outside of Sarah Beyer here on the restart. Will that outside get going? Not quite as good as we have seen today. As Sarah Beyer gets rolling on the bottom. Mason's going to take a look for the race lead. This could be scary.
Yeah. To a lot of drivers, it is scary. But Mason Beyer, with an aggressive move, touches the number 6 of Sarah Beyer. But he's got the race lead cleared. Charlie Beyer follows, and last week's winner, Chaz Tapaye, moves up into the 4th spot.
We saw Tapaye lose a lot of track position earlier in this race, so it's good to see him climb his way back through the field. As a good run for Sarah Beyer on the outside there. She looked like she was about to slip back, and she got a great exit. As now she's 4 wide. Charlie Beyer slips up. Car on the fence back there. They get it going, and everybody keeps it straight as Mushu Grendy takes advantage of that situation. And now she's going to battle for 3rd with Charlie Beyer, as Ryan DaCosta has made his way to the front of the field.
These guys are almost 4 wide on the corner, 4 wide down the front straightaway. Historically, this has not ended well, but they're keeping it straight as of right now. Mason Beyer got the race, but this is the Hornet's Nest. They're looking 5 wide in the corner. JJ Hill's up into the wall. Lars Dierks and JJ Hill also collected. Zane Warkel. Randy Eggers bumps into the back of them as well. And yet another yellow flag before the halfway point in this race.
This thing is just getting ridiculous at this point. 5 wide, guys. Have we taken notes on what we've seen throughout this race with 3 wide and not seen what it would do? They were pushing 5 wide there. It just feels like the car on the bottom has not got the entry he's needed. Every single one of these crashes, it feels like the guy on the bottom washes up, and it allows an opportunity for somebody to be aggressive, and that usually doesn't end well. That's what happened there. Francisco Bacallao slides up. Therefore, everybody slides up. The door opens for Mike Beyer, and we get a crash.
Well, I'm not sure I have much words for that one.
I mean, this is just ridiculous, guys.
I mean, we're looking 5 wide in the corner here. As Lars Dierks gets up into the outside wall. I don't think a lot of these guys are finished for the race, but certainly have a lot of damage. If JJ Hill and these guys didn't have damage before, they've got some now. As everyone just kind of wants a piece of it, it looks like.
I mean, that's all I think I could say. It's like everybody wants to wreck today.
I think so.
Might be a protest. You think there's a protest happening down there? I mean, this is just crazy. Just no words.
No words. I think if another crash happens, we'll see what race control has to say about the length of this race. But it's definitely, interesting. 4 wide, Keelan. I have a hard time justifying that. As much as we wanted to try and justify Mason Byers' move earlier, or at least last weekend. Ironically, he's got the cleanest car in the field. But, not a whole lot to say. In fact, Mason Byers could take the halfway point after about 45 minutes of racing. So we've at least got half an hour more of this.
This is just crazy, Charlie. I mean, you see 3 wide, hasn't really been working out all race long, and these guys end up going 5 wide, like that's gonna stick, and it's just it's crazy. I think we need to get the Instagram buds together to put together some commercials for moments like this.
I think so.
There's just not much to say. This is happening.
Actually, I think I've actually got a few up my sleeve. We'll take a look into our movie theater here. Okay. I think I got some here.
For every turn, twist. For every start, an untimely finish. A brawl. For every split second, years of work. For every heaven, a hell. For every good old boy, a good old girl. For every curse, a prayer. For every ounce of order, a jug of chaos. For every twist, there's a turn.
To the bottom of the racetrack, Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to stay in front of the pack. They work their way through 3 and 4. Into the triumph they come. Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the bottom of the track. Jr.
Dr. Pepper Sports.
And we'll welcome you back to the stream. Guys are starting to go double file. Thanks for joining us in that commercial break. Mason Byer in that number 24 is going to lead them down to the green flag. Sarah Byer in that number 6. We'll see if she gets a good restart. Mushu Grendies, a car who was up into the catch fence last weekend, is now running in the 4th position. Keelan, I know this was a big topic that you wanted to follow this race, if Mushu was able to rebound. And that we're certainly seeing that so far. At least she's avoiding all the wrecks so far. So pace car's going to die when to turn. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, green flag back in the air here. Sarah Byer, good restart on the outside. Mushu Grendy's rolling there on the outside. In a battle with Mason Byer there. Couple guys who weren't too happy with each other after this past week at Daytona as Charlie starts to battle his cat there, side by side for second.
And we're already looking 3 wide in the back. I wonder, as much as this field is dwindling down, I think it'll subsequently make it a little bit safer for these guys, but they're still racing really close here. So no promises, but we got through a lap of green flag racing led by Sarah Beyer, Charlie Beyer in second, Mason Beyer in third.
It's the Beyer show here at Charlotte as Mason takes a look under the one who saved him in Charlie Beyer right there, Ryan DaCosta, trying to stick with Mason right there as he slips back off the corner. Mason Beyer under Charlie, still side by side. These guys not letting each other go as they come off of turn 4. Still battling, and you know who likes this is Sarah Beyer looking in her rearview mirror.
Yeah, Sarah likes us seeing these cars side by side. Ryan DaCosta, a car who we haven't seen, or at least that we've been seeing inch towards the front kind of throughout this race so far, is now looking up for the second position. Ryan DaCosta, part of the guys racing, teammates with Alex Schumacher, who unfortunately was taken out early on for second place. Now, Ryan DaCosta is looking to pick up the scraps as they approach lap number 45.
Yes, it's been a quiet move towards the front for that 26. Started a little bit further in the field than he would have liked, and it just seems as the race progresses, that 26 car slowly but surely making his way through the pack. And I think you hit the nail on the head earlier, Charlie. This field size kind of dwindling is definitely making it safer for these guys to maneuver and put together a good race. As the 24 and 26 start the battle side by side, looked like they were reeling in Sarah Beyer a little bit. But as they go side by side, that's going to allow the 6 car to pull away again.
Another car is kind of approaching the front again. That's the number 46 of Reese Kupski, who we saw take the lead very briefly, and is now he kind of got shuffled back as they were, the field was doing their kind of usual antics. But now he's up back in the 4th position and looking for more. So Reese Kupski's been a driver that I've been watching as Mason slips up the track, DaCosta slips up the track, Reese Kupski picks up the scraps, is now looking for second place.
Good save by all those drivers right there. I thought Mason was going in the fence, and he found a way to grab the wheel and keep it straight as DaCosta also slid up the track. We're going to be 3 wide for second here, and this is where you start getting nervous. It looks like they're keeping it together to this point. Charlie Beyer on the bottom, Kupski in the middle as they go back to 2 by 2 as DaCosta is going to maintain second for now, but this is a hornet's nest back here for the 3rd spot.
Yeah, and I think the winner out of that, we saw Charlie go 3 wide off of turn number 2, and that really slowed Reese Kupski up and allowed Ryan DaCosta to get some clean air again. He's now going to charge down the leader. Now Mushu Grendy's looking for some spots, and this is a tight battle for positions 3rd to 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Oh, they're all bunching up now.
And every one of those moments they come off turn 2 where a car is on the corner of somebody else, you can't help but get nervous after what we've seen today. And you just want some green flag racing at this point as the top 3 start to single file out. Mike Beyer, your father, sitting there in 4th as Mushu Grendy's, who has had speed early in this season. Good for Mushu. Had a good run at Daytona last week before the crash. And a instance we were talking about earlier is, would she be 100% for today's race? I know she was run to a local veterinarian's office after the Daytona crash to get checked out and see if she was 100% to race. She was medically cleared. It was kind of quiet in the news, not reported on too much, but it's breaking here on the broadcast that she did hit up the vet, but got the prescription of, carrots that she likes, or bananas? One or the other.
Well, it's certainly, for the media, she'll have to say she likes bananas. Obviously, her sponsor is Chiquita. Chiquitita? I don't know, honestly. But, yes, she got the prescription she's needed. Most likely bananas, and she's good to go.
Yeah, good for her. It's good to see how safe these cars have gotten, that all you need is bananas after that big wreck. Back in the day, we would have been on morphine trying to get us through that one, so... Good for Mushu Grendy's as Charlie Beyer trying to climb his way up through the field and get around his buddy Ryan DaCosta as Sarah Beyer looks to be slipping back a little bit as these tires start to wear.
Yeah, these tires are going to start to wear, and Keelan, we have yet to really come to a conclusion if these guys are going to come down for a green flag pit stop. These cars pitted, I'd say, around lap 20. I'm not sure if we caught them going around pit road again on one of these yellow flags. But I definitely think that if they did pit around lap 20, there's going to be a final pit stop. And I think that's going to inch closer to the end of this race. So this could turn into a fuel mileage race. We could have, oh, wow, Mushu Grendy's with a big safe off of the corner. We're going to take a replay and look at that. I think she just barely got tagged by the 77 of Haley.
This was a pretty slick move right there.
Oh, man.
Tagged. Any other instance today, that's going in the inside fence. So good job of Mushu Grendy's. What a save.
Wow.
And, I think she has started to put the rumors to rest about a bunny being able to drive a race car and the criticism. She's putting it to rest right now. Small little arms, but can still save a car. As Ryan DaCosta took the lead while we were taking a look at that replay.
Yep.
The 26 car is now leading for the first time today as they start to catch lap traffic.
Yep, lap car of Joseph Godler, number 69, Rocket League car. Wow, these guys are getting really tight. Reese Kupski, contact with Mike Byer. They're going to keep it clean, and he's going to pin Mike Byer behind that number 69 Chevrolet. Reese Kupski is up to third place. Mike Byer gets held up as well. Wow, this lap car is causing a lot of trouble.
Same instance we saw at Daytona last week with Mason Byer. Lap traffic is going to be an issue here on the NR side of things, and I think that's something you can get used to seeing pretty often. Lap traffic making race-changing moves right here as this is the battle for fourth. Charlie Byer and Mike Byer all over each other. As the race for the lead tightens up there. Not side-by-side yet, as Sarah's now going to take a look and try to take that position back.
Down to the inside, it's Chevy versus Toyota versus Ford. So these three different manufacturers occupy the top three spots. And you can pretty much throw these cars under a blanket. I wouldn't be surprised if these are the cars that are able to pull ahead come towards the end of this race. But Reese Kupski on that number 46 takes the inside of the number 26, and I'll see the inside of the 6. So a lot of sixes. Triple six. I don't know what I'm saying. It's been a long race.
Oh, well. No.
Reese Kupski is going to take the race lead on lap number 57.
Not
Almost.
necessarily good omens to say those numbers in order, as now we have a 4-horse race for the lead right here, and this is going to bring the field up to them as they get more bumped up. DaCosta way up the racetrack running that top. Watch the corner exit he could get here. The 26 trying to get a run, and not quite going to get up to him as Reese Kupski takes the race lead away, but Sarah Byer not letting him go. What a run out of that 6 car. Not quite the fastest car on racetrack, it appears, but she is not letting these guys go whatsoever as we are all over each other for the race lead.
Wow, this top 10 has really tightened up. We're seeing guys like Stratus DePaye, even Kenneth Bueno, in a sense, catch up to these guys. 3 wide for the race lead. Reese Kupski's going to power around the outside. Wow, this race turned good pretty fast.
Oh, this is amazing. This is the racing we could have been getting all day long, and it is amazing right now. Reese Kupski, a seasoned veteran here in this AI universe, out in the race lead right now. Charlie Byer trying to run him down, a guy who has been here since the first season. Couldn't crack into victory lane till last season, one of the longest winless droughts in the series history. He broke it last season, and he's trying to make his case for a championship today. Charlie Byer trying to look to the inside, nearly making contact there between the 2 race cars.
Yeah, Reese Kupski shuts the door. Reese Kupski's been jockeying his way up towards the front and has now done a lot to defend. They are bumper to bumper down the back straightaway, and he just keeps shutting the door on the number 14. He's going to move him up the racetrack. Here comes that Cedar Point Ford Mustang, new paint scheme for this week. Going to try to look for the race lead. 20 laps to go at Charlotte.
Charlie Byer racing hard. This is going to allow Sarah Byer to reel in just a little bit along with Ryan DaCosta and Mushu Grendy's. We have a race here with just 20 circuits to go. Some lap traffic ahead out the windshield. That's why this lead is so important when you get to that lap traffic. The leader last week was pretty unaffected, while everybody else behind him was, and that seemed to be the case a little bit earlier. So I think being in the lead by the time you catch those 2 lap cars up there, it's going to be really important.
Yeah, and I think the biggest takeaway pertaining to lap cars at Daytona was being in the right spot. Those lap cars are going to sit anywhere they want on the racetrack, so these guys are going to have to choose correctly. Fortunately, they're not stacked up 3 by 3 as much as they wanted to earlier in this race. They're not stacked up 3 by 3 now, so they have a bit more decision making when it comes to getting by these lap cars. But here it comes. We have the number 15 of Emma Grandes and the number 19 of Trip Belsha will be the first to get passed by your leaders.
And I think Emma will be nice to Charlie here. Maybe not! She's not going to be nice at all as Reese Kupski takes a look to the inside. New race leader, and Charlie is getting pinned up by the 15 machine. They're going to be 3 wide off the corner. Could spell trouble as they get around Trip Belsha as well. And now, 1, 2, 3 is going to be Kupski, Beyer, and Grendes as Charlie Beyer slipped from first to fourth right there.
Wow. Wow.
Hey, you thought we may see some good fortune come from those two, knowing their relationship off the track, but no favors being paid here on the racetrack, and I don't blame them. You're racing for every point you got, and I know Charlie probably doesn't feel that way right now. It might be something that will be discussed after the race today as you see this big conglomeration of race cars back here. That's 8th place Kenneth Bueno, and a pack behind him.
Oh, man.
Trying to get up there, nearly trouble back there between the two cars in last place, as we are 3 wide for second, Charlie. This is getting crazy.
It's gotten crazy real fast. I mean, that's been the moral of this entire race. But Reese Kupski, I mean, it took a while to get through the first half of the race, but this second half of the race is blowing by. We've only got 15 laps to go, and we have yet to know if these guys are going to come down for one more pit stop to end this race. You know, this I can't believe how fast we've gotten through this second half, as Reese Kupski is going to lead. Coming to lap number 77, another car I've been impressed with that's been able to really navigate his way through. And we got a yellow flag out. Gonna try and see where that yellow flag is. That's Stratus DePaye, one of the front runners over the course of this race. Has got a bit of damage.
Last week's winner at Daytona, causing a late race yellow here, and we'll see what trouble spelled out of the second pack back here. We were just watching her right before this caution happened. That's the 77 of Haley right there. She blow a tire or something. Something crazy happened. Got up into Stratus DePaye, turned him around, and we got a race now. As didn't look like his race is over. Just got a little bit of damage.
Yeah, I definitely don't think Stratus DePaye's race is over. But that's pretty blatant from the number 77 of Haley. Finished second.
I think
second in
I think that's going to be one they have to take a look at, because that is not the kind of racing you want to see. And we will see if these front runners do take the trip down pit road here. As I believe we'll see some strategy here. I'm not going to rule out the possibility that some of these guys think they're good on fuel and can make it, but then it's going to be a tire race. So I think this could go either way. I don't know what I would do here if I was leader Reese Kupski, but I definitely feel like I'm in the worst position right now.
Yeah, and especially on this restart, you know, the outside line's been able to get that power, and really be ahead out of turn number 2. So it's interesting to see kind of the decision making that's going to go into it, but it also kind of, you know, maybe some of these guys are staying out because if you take tires and you're the only one, say you get faked out, you're going to be in the back of the pack with about 10 laps to go. You know, this pack isn't that big, but it's still going to be a lot of trouble getting back up to the front if you do take tires. So we'll see if there's any takers.
Coming down here, I believe this is going to be the opportunity.
Nothing.
And I believe this group of cars, they think they're good to the end, and I'm surprised nobody's taken the gamble on tires.
I mean, I think it could really pay off. I mean, especially
I think so.
For
especially if we get some green-white checkers.
Yeah, you know, especially for cars that have a bit of damage here. You know, JJ Hill, he's got speed, but unfortunately is plagued by damage. I think if someone like JJ Hill were to go down to the pit lane and get some fresh tires, he'll be able to kind of storm through the pack a little bit easier. or at least be up to speed with these race leaders with those fresh tires. So I'm surprised, Keelan, that there hasn't been that there's really no takers.
Yeah, I thought there would be some takers right there, but I guess these guys are also looking at the possibly worse side of things here, because what have we seen today? We've seen faster cars be stuck in the back of the pack and on their way trying to get back up through. We've seen wreck after wreck after wreck. So maybe these guys just want to finish this thing clean. I just thought we'd get at least one or two takers there, Charlie.
Yeah. But we've got none. But assuming the pace car is going to go lights out at this lap, we're going to take the green flag on lap number 71. So that'll be 10 laps? 10 laps to go in this race.
It's going to be a duel to the end. If this is anything like the last 20 laps or so that we have seen from racing on this racetrack right here, I think it's going to be crazy, because I thought right there near the end of that run that we finally had the fastest car this race, Reese Kupski in the race lead. And now when we come to this restart, he's not going to be on the outside, and the outside has been the way to go all day. So
yeah,
I think this is anybody's race if you're in about the top 5 right now. But I'd keep my eye on that 6 of Sarah Beyer, because every time she's gotten past, she's either maintained second or she's made a pass for the lead right after. So I think that 6 car is going to be the one to watch, and if the 6 and 46 get into each other, don't count out the 16, 14, 26. And I wouldn't count it past a last lap crash out of these front 2 runners and giving it to Mushu Grandies.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them wreck for second place. But, you know, another factor, or another thing to consider, Keelan, is that Reese and Sarah started 1 and 2 on the last restart. But the outside lane didn't get the jump going into turn number 1. They were even. I believe even Mason Beyer, as I think I saw Trip Belsha.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on.
I think those were lap cars just trying to get back in order.
I think so. They're back up.
Looks like they got it.
Yeah,
I think they got it.
But anyways, to continue what I was saying, Keelan, you know, they were even going into turn number 1, and Mason Beyer made a 3-wide move for the race lead. So it's just going to be a matter of seeing how this is going to play out. Those lap cars look like they're going to catch to the back of the pack come the restart. Pace car dives into pit lane. Reese Kupski will lead the field with the green flag. 10 laps to go at Charlotte.
Pretty dead even out of those front 2 race cars as they got to the start-finish line. It's really going to be about who gets the advantage off of turn number 2. Grendy's looked like she is hooked up with Reese Kupski down there, and her teammate Sarah Beyer stuck on the outside, can't quite clear her. As they get on the backstretch, though, looks like she's pulling away from her, and now she could take a move, almost contact, and Grendy's going to take the race lead for now. They're going to be 3 wide coming off turn 4 almost.
First time we've seen Mushu Grendy's lead the field tonight. Ryan DaCosta lined up on the bottom in a car we haven't seen up front all night. That's Kenneth Bueno in the number 17.
Side by side for the race lead they hold as Grendy's finally gets out front. She's going to clear Reese Kupski, and that opens the door for Ryan DaCosta in the 26. To the inside he's going to go as these guys try to keep it clean behind him, but Mushu Grendy starts to pull away. Can the Bunny Rabbit do the impossible today as they come to 8 laps to go?
Mushu Grendy leads that number 73. Can she hold on for just a handful more? But Ryan DaCosta is able to take the inside, and Reese Kupski's got on the bottom lane. He's got some speed. Maybe he'll look 3 wide for the race lead. It's not something we haven't seen today, as these guys are 3 wide for the 4th position, Charlie Beyer and Michael Pruitt, who has collected a wreck early on. So these guys are just coming up out of nowhere.
Yeah, Pruitt, involved in that lap 2 collision earlier, has made his way to the top 5 as Ryan DaCosta leads. And that opens the door for Reese Kupski. The second a new leader comes in there, the bottom line opens for the next car in line. So now it's Ryan DaCosta in the 26 out to the lead. Can he hold on before Reese Kupski makes another move? He's going to take it into turn number 3 here. To the inside he goes. 6.5 laps to go. Coming to 6 to go. We're side by side for the race lead. Nobody has a clear advantage here at Charlotte.
They'll take lap number 75. Ryan DaCosta, not a winner in the LGO Cup Series. Reese Kupski, Daytona 500 winner and 2-time winner last season. He's looking for a few more wins, or he's looking for his first win in CharlieCar to add yet another win to his resume. But Ryan DaCosta, 0 wins, Reese Kupski, a handful, and Charlie Byer with 1 as they come down to lap number 76. It'll be 5 laps to go when they cross the stripe.
It feels like a David versus Goliath story here, Charlie. A guy who has never won in this AI racing universe taking on one of the seasoned greats, a guy who has contended for championships, a guy who could have won the championship last year after racking up a couple wins. It's really just stack your poker chips as you will. Gamble on who you want to, because this can go either way as Ryan DaCosta trying to maintain that race lead, coming to 4 laps to go.
Oh, and
Car
eclipse
to grass! Eclipse to Paye! A pass in the grass.
Well, we would take a look at that, but we've got a battle for the race lead. Reese Kupski in the 46 gets by the 26 of Ryan DaCosta. Lap number 77. Looks like Molly Byer's got engine troubles all the way down, starting the back straightaway. But it's not a factor as Reese Kupski in that number 46 has the lead. He's going to come to 4 laps to go, 3 laps to go here at Charlotte.
Thought DaCosta might have tried the crossover going into turn 3 that last time. It looks like he just delayed it to now. He's going to make the move on the bottom right here. Charlie Byer licking his chops in the 3rd position right there as Ryan DaCosta makes the move on Reese Kupski for the race lead to the inside. He's going to go and take it in turn number 3 as that opens the door for Charlie Byer for the 2nd position. 2 laps to go. It's looking good for DaCosta.
Yeah, that's what DaCosta wants to see. He wants to see these cars battling, but that's also allowing the 4th place car of Kenneth Bueno, who we have not seen up front all night tonight, and is now looking for some more. The 14 of Charlie Byer looking to clear for that 2nd spot. He's got it. He's going to set out for the race lead, but Reese Kupski immediately is going to look back for that 2nd place.
Kupski going to take a look to the inside, and when they come off of turn 4 and take the white flag, this race is official, and the next flag will end it. Ryan DaCosta takes the white flag, seeing heaven in his rearview mirror, as he's just got to make it through 4 more corners to get his first career win in this AI racing universe.
The 14 clears the number 46 as they embark on 1.5 lap to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's been a race of commotion. It's been a race of smoke-filled caution flags, but turn 3 and 4 sees Ryan DaCosta for the guys, and he'll come up off turn number 4 to take the checkered flag. Bring him home, Keelan.
Ryan DaCosta, first career win in this AI racing universe. He gets it done in race 2 of CharlieCar at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Congratulations to Ryan DaCosta and the guys racing as the 26 machine gets it done for the first time in his career. You can almost feel the emotion pouring out of that NASCAR and NBC machine.
And he's been here for a handful of races in this racing universe, and that'll be his first career win. And they are. We got a bit of commotion coming to the pit lane here. That's Mike Byer's got a bit of damage. We'll see what happens. Maybe he's not.
That's teammate Francisco.
Oh man, we got a bit of.
Man, teammate drama unfolding at the end of this race. I wonder if we can. Was there anything that happened on the racetrack that could have related back to that?
I mean, we'll see. They weren't really by each other. I wonder if this may be relating to an incident that happened maybe beforehand. But either way, the buyer, or not the buyer, well, it is a buyer, but Aviator Racing is not happy with each other towards the end of this race.
Or maybe that was a misfire. Maybe he was going for Eclipse. He wasn't happy with that pass in the grass move, and I mean, that's just plain dirty. You can't do that post-race. As this race comes to an end, 21 cars finished today's race on the racetrack as Charlie will take you through the finishing order today at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yep, you're exactly right, Keelan. 18 cars finished on the lead lap today, led by the 26 of Ryan DaCosta and that NBC number 26. Reese Kupski in the 46, pretty good run for him. He finishes second. Charlie Byer finishes third. Kenneth Bueno makes a late race run to fourth. Mushu Grandies goes from catch fence to top 5, finishing. That'll round out your top 5. Sarah Byer in the 6th finishes in spot 6. Francisco Bacalhau 7th. Eclipse DePaye and Randy Eggers, as well as Mike Byer, will round out your top 10. Mike Prio got collected in an early crash, finishes 11th. Mason Byer 12th. J.J. Hill scores another top 15, finishes in the 13th spot. Haley finishes 14th. Nate Grenny's top 15. Zane Workel, Stratus DePaye, and Eli Comerford will round out your cars on the lead lap. Emma Grenny's finishes 19th, 1 lap down. Joseph Gordon at 69, and we'll have you guys take a look at the rest of this field. And, Keelan, it's, a lot to say about this race. You know, there was calamity to start this race, definitely. But, you know, with the field whittling down, a lot less cars that were able to be crashed, we're able to get a pretty solid race going. You know, Ryan DaCosta, it's a feel-good story for him. Holds off a proven winner in this AI racing universe. Keelan, your thoughts on the race tonight?
Well, shoot, dude. I texted you earlier. I said, what do you expect out of this race? You think there will be a few crashes? And you say, decent chance at a yellow. Like I was like, oh, we're going to get something going on pit road, maybe 1 yellow today. And lap 2, boom, it's already starting. And it just felt like we couldn't get this thing going. Then we got to about the halfway point, and that's when guys really started to settle down. And we had a lot of comers and goers there late. Sarah Byer, Mason Byer, they looked like the fastest ones there. And then as we got to the tail end of the race, Ryan DaCosta seemed to be the car to beat as he quietly climbed his way through the field and kind of stole the win from Reese Kupski. It was a great battle, though. I mean, that was an incredible race for the victory right there. I'm kind of curious about Eclipse DePaye and that move he made in the – or she. I don't want to –
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. But that move that cat made in the grass, because that was kind of insane if we could get that on tape.
Yeah, we'll
we didn't get a chance to really see the 31.
Let's see. Yep, the 31. It's that flagman's going crazy down there.
Oh, he loves his job.
Let's get back a few laps. Let's see. That happened with about. Yeah, here it is. Eclipse DePaye. Similarly to Mushu Grannies, wow, these pets are really wheeling it off of turn number 4. Sarah's going to get up into Eclipse and, wow, all the way into the apron, is able to keep that. He keeps the spot.
That's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
What a save. These pets, they were wheeling and dealing today, and they all did what they had to do. Rough showing for teams like Dirty South Racing. I don't think they had a car in the top 15 besides maybe J.J. Hill. He maybe just barely snuck in there. A couple teams really didn't put together the run they needed. So we'll see what's going to be said in the media this week as we lead up to our next race on the schedule, race number 3 at the Phoenix Raceway. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be Phoenix Raceway. I have good expectations, but my expectations have been severely disproven in many ways this season so far. Daytona, I never saw a lap 2 crash, or at least a crash that big, all week of testing, and it happened. As well as this race, I haven't seen a wreck fest in all week of testing, and unfortunately, that's what we got. But that's the deal with AI racing, is it's unpredictable in every possible way. So, Keelan, we're already on week number 2. We're going to have a big point shuffle. I think Stratus DePaye, there's a really good chance that Stratus DePaye is going to maintain his points lead, or at least a solid spot in the points. But that's really all that we have for tonight. So for myself and Keelan Belshit in the booth, for all you guys watching, thanks for sticking out an hour 18 long broadcast full of crashes and wrecked AI race cars. We hope you guys enjoyed, and we're going to see you guys next week at Phoenix Raceway. After that, we got Michigan, and then we got the Charlie Bull Nationals coming up as well. So an exciting few weeks. I promise to make the AI picture perfect coming up. But Keelan, you got any last words?
Oh yeah, I mean that was just it was a fun race today. I'm glad we got good racing after the wrecks kind of settled down. So it was it was a fun time, and I'm glad we got it together today. And I hope next week at Phoenix we'll have a race like we saw in the last half today, all the way through.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, once again for myself and my colleague Keelan Bellish in the booth, I say good night and big balls.